baby. Alright! What's up, YouTube? I'm Melee Matt. Welcome to another exciting episode of Spolier Attack, episode 2. What? I started recording my review on Terrifier. Oh, spoiler on a spoiler video. That's a twist of events. Woo! It recently started snowing, so it snowed last night, and so every 16-year-old Ken Block is now out on the streets. I started recording another episode of Spolier Attack on Terrifier, but more people wanted Venom first. Give them Venom. But I explained my pure joy and happiness a lot better in that, so I'm gonna cut to that and show that and then come back to this. Okay, but by a surprising landslide of views, 15, but for someone at my height, 15 views is quite a feat, especially in 2019. But I'll talk about that in another video. Honestly, I was not expecting people to enjoy Spolier Attack episode 1. I mean, people are commenting. I made a Facebook poll yesterday and honestly on making another episode for. Alright, so we're back. So, as you can tell, and as I've told you already, we're talking about Venom today. Now, Venom's one of those interesting anti-heroes. Now, I'm also going on some very, very testy waters right now. I'm talking about a comic book movie in 2018. People are getting upset about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So, I'm about to boil some water on this topic because as much as I love comic books and I love talking about comics, I don't know a ton about them. I know enough about them to have good, decent conversations, but I don't know enough about them to be talking about them on the internet. So we're talking about Venom on the internet. I've been waiting for this for a while. I saw Spider-Man 3 when it came out in theaters, and of course they introduced Eddie Brock, and who is Venom. No surprise to that. Venom in that movie wasn't really portrayed the best. It could have been done a lot better. But also understandably that the Venom that they portrayed in the Tobey Maguire universe was a different Spider-Man universe. But what I really liked about the Venom movie is that it had ties to clearly the Spider-Man universe because it talked about how Eddie got ran out of New York for some reason, but clearly he got run out of it because he sucked at being a reporter, because Peter Parker, of course, is the ultimate best news reporter out there. Shout out to Parker. They explained that. Still weird to see Tom Hardy as Venom when he was Bane in the Christopher Nolan Batman series. For me at least, because Tom Hardy is a lot thinner than he was and does not sound with that deep voice of Bane. But what was interesting about this version of Venom is that he actually looked like Venom. But the movie is only an hour and 57 minutes, which for a superhero movie like that, and an origin story at that too, was very interesting because they explained to what I think for a normal audience was a good enough, substantial enough information to be like, okay, I know what's happening. They call Mr. Drake. They explained to what I think is enough information for a normie to realize what's going on. They explain it enough to the point where a normal movie watcher could walk in and be like, yo, this is a sick superhero movie. Spider-Man's gotta be in it. Spoiler not, which I was kind of upset about. I don't know, I wanted to see some part of Spider-Man in this movie. At the same time, it was cool that Spider-Man wasn't in there because, hey, it's not a Marvel movie. And no like hints of Marvel anywhere in it, which is also kind of cool. But I'm hoping that in future Spider-Man movies that they introduce the Tom Hardy Venom Venom, because I think that would be a very interesting mix of characters. This Venom, now this is where it's getting into that, like, I know comic book stuff. Venom in this movie bites people's heads off, which that's, for a PG-13 movie, that's pretty extreme. For them to actually show him actually biting people's heads off was pretty intense. The action was overly awesome. Kind of wish Michael Bay was doing it, because imagine Transformers action into this movie. Woo! That car chase scene, that would have been sick. Venom actually talks to Brock, which Venom in the Spider-Man 3 Tobey Maguire universe, he didn't, so I thought that was also cool. He talked technically four Venoms introduced in this movie. There's Venom, there's Riot. Now, I don't know if when the symbiote attached to Annie, if that's like a girl Venom, but I'm gonna say it's a girl Venom. This is another point where it's, oh, I know, but I don't know, comic book talk. But so there's Annie Venom, gonna call her Annie Venom, and then there's Riot, which is what Drake ends up taking over. Drake is all like chill about it, different. Riot, who Drake controls, who Riot is like 100 times way more intense than Venom is, because he's, so Riot has a lot of prototype attributes to him where he can more claws, he's a lot more intense. Now, Venom is also that anti-hero, so he's bad, but he also isn't 100% bad. He wants to help, and halfway through the movie, Venom's like, oh, we were supposed to take over this world, but then that changed, and then Brock's like, oh, what changed your mind? And he's like, you. I thought that was a really sweet moment. I was like, oh, I start crying. Venom and Brock, now they're BFFs. And so towards the end of the movie, they have this massive battle. Riot also has his prototype attributes and starts like slinging people. Drake gets all annoyed, everyone in his facility, and he's like, he said something where he's like, oh, you don't want to see what happens, and then he gets upset because Venom's getting closer to the rocket, because the rocket's supposed to go in space, and I forgot what the rocket's supposed to do, to like explode or something. Oh, I'm sliding. So Venom starts running towards the rocket. Riot's like, heck no. So then Drake transforms into Riot. Drake's employees are like, what the heck's this? Then Riot starts stabbing everyone. At one point, he breaks into his claws, or his blades, and just cuts everyone in half. Actually, it doesn't show that they get cut in half, but I bet you they get cut in half. So that happens, and then Riot and Venom start having this massive, like super massive fight with each other, which is awesome, which is probably one of my favorite fight sequences, because you get to see 5 or 7 of Riot's actual powers, which are freaking gnarly, might I add. It goes back to all this like prototype fight sequence stuff, which I thought was really cool. And then at one point, Drake in Riot form grabs Venom off of Eddie, and then Eddie gets tossed like 20 feet, but then he doesn't want Venom to completely die. So, which I thought was really cool in this version than in the Spider-Man 3 version, because in Spider-Man 3, Brock actually, the Venom suit actually takes control over him and completely makes him delusional. In this one, Brock is normal, he's sane, he doesn't want the Venom suit. And in the movie, I feel like he starts getting this like personal connection with him. So then at one point, Brock gets the suit back onto him and then starts fighting him, and then at that point Venom and Brock are now one entity. I thought it was really cool. And then so after the fight sequence happened, Annie comes over, and moral of the story, oh yeah, and then Venom detach, Riot and Drake jump onto the rocket blows up, yada yada, and then the whole like goes dark, and then it says 1 year later. 1 year later or 6 months later. Did a second watching last night, passed out for the last like 20 minutes. But So I've said there's a lot of my favorite parts, but my ultra favorite part of this whole movie is the final sequence where Brock clearly, actually there's two things, where Brock goes into this jail cell in what I'm assuming is Alcatraz. Or is no, he goes into a jail cell, starts talking to Woody Harrelson, which, shout out to that dude. That dude's been in a lot of killer movies in the last 10 years. Talking to this Woody Harrelson character, and then he said a bunch of things where he's like, Brock, I can't see you in this light, come closer. Brock comes closer, and guess what happens? He comes closer, Woody Harrelson says a bunch of stuff, and then the final thing that he says, one of the last things he says before it cuts into credits is, when I get out here, and when I do, there's going to be carnage. And then it cuts, I'm like, what the heck? Venom 2? Venom versus Carnage? Carnage versus Venom? And at that moment, my jaw dropped. I was like, oh my god. First Mysterio in Spider-Man Homecoming? No, not Homecoming, but first Mysterio in Spider-Man Far From Home, which Mysterio is one of my favorite, all-time favorite, which I'll talk about when that movie comes out, which I'm super stoked about. But then Carnage. Carnage is also one of those super favorite superhero. Well, Venom villain. But yeah, I'm stoked for that because I never thought that I'd get to the day that Venom was gonna be a real character. Carnage was also gonna be a real character. So it's just almost too much for me, guys. But I'm also very excited for what is coming and what's gonna happen. But as always, I'm Billy and Matt. Thanks for tuning into this exciting episode of Spoiler Attack. Thank you for being interested in listening to me talk for however long I do talk for and spoil movies. But as always, thanks for tuning into this week's episode of Spoiler Attack. I'm gonna see you guys, you dudes and dudettes, in 2 weeks because we're doing Terrifier. Yeah, I'm dropping in 2 weeks on Tuesday. It's gonna be sick. It's gonna be lit. I'm Billy and Matt saying deuces, and yeah, don't forget to share this with all your friends who enjoy superhero movies as well, because we know you all do. Share it with your sister. Share it with your mom, grandma. All right, I'm out.